Hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. 2023 is underway, and many different arts and entertainment facilities are offering great exhibits, concerts, and more in their schedules. In this episode, I'll be discussing where you can go to see great artwork, an interesting cover performance at the Berkshire Theater Group, and reviewing the film Where The Crawdads Sing. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, which actress helped make the book Where The Crawdads Sing a huge hit? Now, for this episode's local headlines. The Clark Art Institute in Williamstown is known for its many exhibitions, and now you can visit the entire museum for free. According to its website, quote, "We're opening our doors wide to welcome everyone with free admission through March 30th. That's 3 full months of unlimited access to our permanent collection, galleries, and special exhibitions, as well as our 140-acre campus, which is a winter wonderland at this time of the year," end quote. The museum is open on Tuesdays through Sundays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It will be open on President's Day. Masks are no longer required, although they are recommended. Visit clarkart.edu for more information. Our next story takes us to Mass MOCA in North Adams for 2 different events. One is a concert, and one is an art exhibit with visuals. The first is a concert called a coma. This is a style of music that combines harp and drums. It is a constant motion of expression that leaves moments of delicate shifts while experiencing modes of control and unpredictability. This type of work was created by performing artists Zlyn and Florence too. Pitchfork magazine, a major music publication, calls Zlyn, quote, "a producer at the vanguard of electronic music, who makes tracks that pulse with a quick and steady heartbeat," end quote. They will be highlighting this when they visit Mass MOCA. The Acoma Show will take place on Saturday, February 18th. It will be held at Mass MOCA's Hunter Center. Tickets are available at massmoca.org. Masks are required during the performance. The second exhibit highlighted this episode is a new art exhibit called On Los Gallos Lloran, or Even Roosters Cry, by artist Armando Cortez. Cortez is an artist currently on display with the Ceramics in the Field piece. The On Los Gallos Lloran exhibit highlights his work in a visual performance piece. Using the traditional sport of cockfighting as a metaphor for the rituals of masculine bravado and the relationships between men, Cortez presents a balancing act between 2 characters whose interactions on a seesaw-like stage reflect the changing contours of their connections to each other and to the histories embedded in the installation objects used in the performance. The visual performance piece of On Los Gallos Lloran will be held on February 18th and 19th at 2 p.m. on both nights. It will be held in Building 4 and is free with your visit to Mass MOCA. The same rules for masks and tickets apply as mentioned earlier. Our next story takes us to Barrington Stage Company in Pittsfield, where they will be putting on the annual 10x10 New Play Festival. This event, which is part of the 2023 10x10 Upstreet Arts Festival, features 10 separate 10-minute plays, each written by a different playwright. This will mark new artistic director Alan Paul's directorial debut at BSC. In a news release, Paul stated, quote, "I love new work, so I'm excited to present 10 new plays that are often funny, sometimes sweet, and always surprising. I can't wait to warm up my first Berkshire's winter by sharing these unique pieces. I look forward to seeing audiences at the theater," end quote. Also directing some of the plays will be Emmy-nominated TV director Matthew Penn, who is returning for his 7th year of the festival. The titles of the new plays are as follows: Real Magic, If I Go First, All Aboard, Piece of Cake, The Haunting Package, Anything You Want, Right Field of Dreams, A Date, The Moon is Full of It, and Gimme Shelter. The 10x10 New Play Festival will be taking place from February 17th through March 5th. It will be held at the St. Germain Stage at the Siddell and Lee Performing Arts Center at 36 Linden Street in Pittsfield. Tickets for the festival are available for purchase at barringtonstageco.org/10x10 or by calling their box office at 413-236-8888. Mask requirements have not been announced yet. Up next on WWHEN, we are going to be looking into the history of an art museum in Berkshire County that hasn't been mentioned for a while. The Frelinghuysen Morris Museum in Lenox highlights abstract work of famed artists George L.K. Morris and Susie Frelinghuysen. In 1929, George L.K. Morris traveled to Paris and was inspired by the studio where he worked. 2 years later, he designed and built his studio on a portion of his parents' Lenox, Massachusetts estate. It was the first modern structure to be built in New England. In 1941, now married to artist and singer Susie Frelinghuysen, Morris chose a local architect, John Butler Swan, to design a house which would be integrated into the existing studio. Swan admired modernism and had spent time in the indigenous buildings of Arizona and New Mexico. A 2-story glass block house with a colorful mural connecting the house and garage was built. Now, the house where Morris and Frelinghuysen lived is now an art museum. Visitors can walk through the house with all of its original furnishings and view not only their artwork, but also their contemporaries, such as Picasso and others. The Frelinghuysen and Morris Art Studio / Museum is located at 92 Hawthorne Street in Lenox. Hours vary. Visit its website for more information. Our next story takes us to the Berkshire Theater Group, where they will be putting on a cover performance about Carole King. Tapestry, the Carole King songbook, features actress Suzanne O. Davis channeling Carole King. The show recreates the sound and vibe of a 1970s Carole King concert experience following her legendary album Tapestry. Not only will the music from that album be featured, but also many songs that King and her husband performed in the 1960s will be performed. She wrote more than 400 songs, which were recorded by over 1,000 artists. The concert will take place at the Berkshire Theater Group on February 25th at 7:30 p.m. Masks will be required. Visit berkshiretheatergroup.org to purchase your tickets. Our next event takes us to the Norman Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge, where the titular artist is having his famed Saturday Evening Post magazine covers on display. For nearly 50 years, millions of Americans bought Norman Rockwell's art into their homes through the Saturday Evening Post, enjoying the artist's covers. This intimate connection with Rockwell's art made his images a part of the fabric of American lives. This comprehensive exhibit of original Saturday Evening Post cover tear sheets features each of Norman Rockwell's illustrations, created between 1916 and 1963. This exhibit is on display from now until a date later to be determined. Visit nrm.org for more information. Masks are required. And now, for a different part of WWHEN, another history segment. We are going to be talking about a famed Pittsfield native who made an impact in the world. This episode, we are going to be talking about astronaut Stephanie D. Wilson. She was originally born in Boston, but moved to Pittsfield in the 1970s. She was always interested in space, and after graduating from Taconic High School in 1984, she went to one of America's most famous universities, Harvard, where she earned her Science of Engineering degree in 1988. She then went to the University of Texas, where she earned her Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering in 1992. After she graduated there, she began work at the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena, California. After 4 years of working there, Wilson was selected as an astronaut by NASA in April 1996 and reported to NASA's Johnson Space Center in August of that year. From there, Wilson completed 2 years of training and became qualified for flight assignment as a mission specialist. At NASA, it can take a while for an up-and-coming astronaut to actually be selected for a space mission. In November 2006, 10 years after Wilson was first selected to join NASA, she was assigned to STS-120 Discovery and flew to space from July 4th to July 17th. This marked the first manned trip for NASA in 4 years. So it was a much anticipated trip both locally and nationally. She was the second African American woman ever to go into space, and locally, the first person ever who graduated from a Berkshire County high school. She made 2 other trips to outer space. STS-121 Discovery, which took place from October 23rd through November 7th, 2007, and STS-131, which took place from April 5th through April 20th, 2010. Stephanie Wilson has taken the most flights ever by an African-American female astronaut. As NASA hopes to renew its manned space travel program, Wilson has been shortlisted as one of the astronauts who could be in this program. Wilson's dream of space travel started in the Berkshires, and throughout her career, it has taken her to more stars than she could ever dream of. Our next story takes us to the Wehry Theater in Great Barrington. On the last episode of WWHEN, I mentioned how Wehry was putting on a series of films for the winter, but they will also be holding a concert in March. This concert will be jazz musician Robert Cray, who will be performing with his band. According to Guitar Player magazine, quote, Robert Cray is not only making music, he's making history. Over the past 4 decades, Cray has created a sound that rises from American roots, blues, soul, and R&B, with 5 Grammy wins, 20 acclaimed studio and live albums that punctuate the Blues Hall of Fame career. End quote. On That's What I Heard, Robert celebrates the music of Curtis Mayfield, Bobby Blue Band, the Sensational Nightingales, and more, alongside Cray's own songs. Cray is touring for the first time since the release of this album, and the Wehry Theater will mark one of his first stops. Robert Cray and his band will be performing at the Wehry Theater on Saturday, March 4th at 8 p.m. Tickets are available at the Wehry Theater's website, wehry.org. You can also call them at 413-528-0100. Masks are required. It's now time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. For this episode, we are going to be reviewing 2022's Where The Crawdads Sing. This was based on Delilah Owens' best-selling 2019 novel. This movie tells the story of Kaya, an abandoned girl who raised herself to adulthood in the marshlands of North Carolina. She was isolated from her community, but she was sharp and resilient. She is then drawn into 2 young men from the town. When one of them is found dead, she is cast as the main suspect. But there is more to the story. So what did I think of this movie? It's a good romantic crime drama. The movie struggles a bit in its first hour as it introduces us to the characters in the world, but it improves as the movie goes along. What also helps is the performances, especially by actress Daisy Edgar-Jones as Kaya. She gives Kaya empathy and a rooting interest. I'm not the biggest fan of the romance crime drama genre, but this movie is a very enjoyable watch. The romance scenes can drag on at some points, but people who have already read Where the Crawdads Sing should be happy with the results. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give Where the Crawdads Sing a 7.5. It's a good romantic crime drama, even for those who aren't fans of the genre. Where the Crawdads Sing also provides the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, which actress helped make the book Where the Crawdads Sing a huge hit? The answer is Reese Witherspoon. Witherspoon, who won an Academy Award for Walk the Line, and is also known for her performances in films and TV shows, ranging from Election and Legally Blonde to Big Little Lies, also has a massive book club where she highlights books on her Instagram and Twitter feeds. Witherspoon chose Where the Crawdads Sing for her September 2018 Book of the Month. By December 2019, the book had sold over a remarkable 4.5 million copies. The book topped the New York Times fiction bestseller list in 2019 and 2020, and it has now sold over 15 million copies. Witherspoon, unsurprisingly, was also a producer of Where the Crawdads Sing film version. Witherspoon's book club also has a local connection. For her January 2023 book club, Witherspoon selected the novel The House in the Pines by Anna Reyes. The novel is set in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, which starts with a viral video of a young woman dropping dead in a diner in Pittsfield. It's a mystery murder novel. In an Instagram video posted on her account, Witherspoon said, quote, "This is an absolute thriller. It's truly a wild ride that had me flying through chapter after chapter. It had me guessing," end quote. If Witherspoon could make Where the Crawdads Sing a huge hit, maybe she could make Anna Reyes' The House in the Pines a hit as well. And maybe there could be a movie version of this book. Stay tuned. That ends this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit Pittsfield TV's and CTSB TV's websites shown here, or visit NBCTC's Facebook page. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at RT Wehry. Thank you.